lakini tatizo liko pale pale. Kama ni mimi hakumuua, basi aliyemuua ni nani? Hatuondoke hapa mpaka tujue mbichi na mbivu.
Yasiri!
Usishike! Yale yote niliyopitia mimi, najua chanzo ni wewe.
Nataka vijana ambao wanaweza kufanya kazi bila uoga wowote.
Damu yangu mimi na ya mke wa kiongozi haziwezi changanyikana.
Maliza haraka, kuna mahali nitakutuma.
Thank you for joining us on Healthy Living. Stay connected to Voice of America at voanews.com. A look at your kidneys and how they impact your health. And an expert discusses chronic kidney disease and how to protect yourself. And Ivorian psychologist Noor Bakayoko shares some insights on bullying and what can be done.
It's important to avoid major events or major health crises.
How do you know if your cough is due to a serious condition? We'll have some answers. Stay well
And strive to make every day a healthy day.
Well, we are hours away from the Jamhuri Day celebration that is set to be held tomorrow. And of course, we'll have details for you in regards to that particular festivities. Are we ready to host it? Where President William Ruto will be leading the nation to celebrate those festivities. Welcome to our bulletin at this hour. My name is Abdiaziz. Hashim, the sign language interpreter. At the bottom end of the screen is Lucy Mora. But before we give you an update on the Jamhuri Day celebration, let's take this particular story where property worth millions of shillings was reduced to ashes after a fire destroyed hostels at Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology JKUAT, leaving several students injured. According to Gishanga Gitonga, student leader, the students were awakened by whistles and screamed at dawn as the fire spread rapidly, leaving 2 students sustaining injuries at the Thika Level 5 hospital, while 4 others are receiving medical attention at the university's health center. The students have called for the establishment of a fully equipped fire station within the university to reduce reliance on external fire services.
Some comrades usually keep cash in these places. Some have had their school fee burnt because when the incident happened, most people left everything that was in their rooms. So we ask for your assistance. We ask that all those who are willing to help us, kindly do so. Comrades are suffering right now. We really need your help. We have 2 admitted to Thika Level 5 and around 5 in the JKUAT hospital who have minor injuries. Also those who jumped, they've been treated as they come out. So far, things are looking a bit well when it comes to people's health.
So we are only requesting, and this one goes to the government of Kiambu County, we need one fire-based station at Georgia, not that we only rely on Thika. And they should be prepared for any event because some of them came with the tanks which are half filled with the water, and that one doesn't help on anything.
And in other news, the head of public service, Felix Koskei, says he is committed to driving innovation and progress in public service to foster a more connected and inclusive Kenya. He spoke after receiving a prestigious award from the Africa Public Sector Conference and awards for his transformation leadership in public service. The colorful ceremony at the Bomas of Kenya was attended by dignitaries including the Secretary to the Cabinet, Principal Secretaries, Inspector General of Police and the Head of State Corporations, among others.
Chief of Staff and Head of Public Service Felix Koskei was on Tuesday night the man of the moment, as he was fitted for transformational leadership in public service by the Africa Public Sector Conference and Awards in a colorful ceremony held at the Bomas of Kenya. In his acceptance speech, the head of public service said the prestigious award was a reflection of the collective efforts of all cabinet secretaries, principal secretaries, and the entire body of public servants.
This is a celebration of the shared vision, collective effort, and resolute determination that is propelling our public service to greater heights like what we are witnessing this evening.
He vowed to remain committed to driving innovation and progress in the public service and fostering a more connected and inclusive Kenya.
The public service faced profound systemic impediments that had built up over many years. Yet from these challenges emerged a resolute vision, a vision drafted under the inspired leadership of His Excellency the President to establish a public service that is accountable and unequivocally responsive to the aspiration of our people.
In attendance was Secretary to Cabinet Mercy Wanjau, Solicitor General Shadrach Mose, Principal Secretaries, including Professor Edward Kisiangani of Broadcasting and Telecommunication, Inspector General of the National Police Service Douglas Kanja, Chief Registrar of the Judiciary Winfred Mokaya, Controller of Budget Margaret Nyakango, Chairs and CEOs of state corporations and institutions. Giverson Maina, Lunchtime News.
Elsewhere, the Kenya Peasant League women have called for immediate and decisive action to address gender-based violence (GBV) against women and girls. The lobby group described the vice as a pressing issue that devastates lives and perpetuates systemic inequality. Addressing the press as they marked the end of the 16 days of activism at Mariwa in Awendo Sub-County, Migori County, the group led by Evelyn Okoth emphasized that violence in rural and peasant communities is tied to cultural norms, economic exploitation and practical structures. Now, she pointed out that harmful practices such as female genital mutilation, which is still prevalent in Kuria, must be eradicated once and for all.
Kama kina mama shauawa, watoto wamebaki pale, mzee ambaye ni muuaji amekimbia, ametoroka, ameacha nyumbani, watoto wamebaki yatima, hakuna yoyote ambaye anaweza kuhakimu.
And we don't want people blaming our young women that they are being killed because they love money. Nobody is forcing anybody to give anybody money. Yes. To be realistic. And we are not forcing men. Men are killing us. And what we are saying is that stop killing women.
Yes. We demand that immediate action to be taken to address violence against women and girls in all its forms. We call for the implementation and enforcement of existing policies such as the Maputo Protocol, the United Nations Declaration of the Rights of Peasants, and other people working in rural areas, in bracket UNDROP.
And on the health front, the Kenya Medical Practitioners, Pharmacists and Dentists Union, KMPDU, has threatened to paralyze operations in all hospitals in Machakos if the county continues to ignore their striking medics' cry. National Secretary General Abdiaziz, while speaking at the Machakos Level 5 Hospital, affirmed that if the county government doesn't comply with their agreement by next week, they will recall all doctors to stage a demonstration following months of unresolved strike. The Resolute Secretary General demanded that the county should respect the court's decision that affirmed the strike was unlawful. Now, this comes a day after Machakos Governor Wavinya Ndeti read a sinister motive in the medics' strike, saying it is politically instigated.
Machakos County joins the other 47 counties across the country who have not implemented the collective bargaining agreement, the very critical components of it that are seeing an increment of wages in the doctors. They have not honored this agreement in the month of July, the month of August, September, October, and now December. So it is quite critical that in the budget of the county, that the CBA that has not been implemented for the last 7 years, the money that is owed to doctors ought to reflect in those particular pay slips. So yes, the national strike that is to commence on 22nd of December 2024, Machakos, together with all other counties, will be part of it, unless the county complies and pays these doctors, the county complies and implements the CBA. And I must also insist that even if we go for a national strike and the county has not paid the wages that are owed to the doctors, the Machakos County doctors will still remain out, because it is important that agreements are honored and agreements are kept sacred.
Solidarity forever.
And on the political front, the Kikuyu Council of Elders have lauded the move by President William Ruto to meet his predecessor, former President Uhuru Kenyatta, saying the move will unite the country and foster peace. Led by their Council General Secretary James Nene, the leaders said it is time politicians buried their differences for the sake of the nation. The elders further emphasized the need for unity in the Mount Kenya region, saying the new alignment of Gema, which now comprises the Akamba community, will ensure that the region will not make unpopular decisions. The leaders at the same time called on the youth to be wary of politicians out to use them for selfish gains.
Na watu wasemehane, hiyo ndio ile kitu ya maana. Kwa hivyo hata yeye akienda mtembelee ni sawa sawa tu, hebu watu waungane na waongee. Sisi kama wazee hatutaki tabu, hata watu wagombane, hakuna faida watu wakikozana.
He has a responsibility to create a harmonious relationship between communities. We elected him and we elected his government from the heart, knowing that he has got the ability to lead this nation to a different direction.
The community should choose carefully who they follow, and this time they should listen to the advice of the elders. This council is deeply concerned at the continued profiling of the Agikuyu and threats of ethnic violence, which is being carried by persons who appear, by their audacity, as if they are enjoying protection from the state.
Business leaders have been challenged to get into Parliament to help shape policies that foster long-term economic growth and sustainability in the country. Kevin Otiende, a businessman and an entrepreneur, emphasized the significant role of businesses in Kenya's economy, noting that they employ over 95% of the workforce. However, he pointed out that businesses remain underrepresented in Parliament, where crucial economic policies are formulated.
We must start considering taking up these roles, because we can't afford when people who don't understand policy, who don't understand international relations, who don't understand small and medium enterprises, who don't understand why the Gen Z need jobs, why they need to be supported to innovate, basically. Going forward and beginning next year, we in business have to start preparing to get into parliament. As many of us as possible have to get into parliament because that's where the laws are made. We really can't sit back anymore and assume that the current crop of leadership means the best for us.
Elsewhere, a family from the Mitamboni area in Machakos County is seeking justice after losing kin to injuries incurred during an alleged kidnapping. The late Jacob Maweu is said to have been abducted by unknown individuals for 24 hours and sustained serious injuries leading to his death 3 weeks later. They now want the authorities to conduct investigations even as they deal with a 1.4 million shillings debt in a bid to give their loved one a befitting send-off.
Sasa hii tarehe 26 mwezi wa 11 huyo ndugu yangu ametuacha, na imekuwa mambo mangumu, ama tumefikia mahali mwisho ambaye hatujui tuanzie wapi, kwa sababu wewe tulikuwa tunafuatilia akuwe at least apone, amekuwa mgonjwa zaidi na ametuacha.
Msaada wenye naomba sasa ni msaada tu wa wakubwa, serikali tusaidie ili ndio aweze kuja hapa, ndio tuweze kupatiwa mwili tukuje tumpumzishe hapa nyumbani, kwa sababu kwa sasa hatuna mbele wala nyuma, tumefika tu mwisho, hatuna otherwise, tumejaribu venye tunaweza, tumeshindwa.
And now to our top story this afternoon, preparations at the historic Uhuru Gardens in Nairobi ahead of the 61st celebration of Jamhuri Day are almost complete. Nairobi Regional Commissioner Kate Mwanza, while welcoming Kenyans to turn up in large numbers for the celebrations, emphasized that all security measures have been put in place in residential areas, commercial buildings and roads for those attending the celebrations and those moving around the city.
For a country, it's very, very important that it's us who are running our affairs as a country. We plan on our own, and that's why we want everybody to be part of these celebrations. Wageni wetu waweze kufika Uhuru Gardens tomorrow saa 12, tuanze mapema, tumalize mapema.
It is ours, not for anybody else, and we shall be there to ensure that you have facilitation. Traffic management will be well controlled. We shall also have facilitation to the center or to the field where the celebration will be done. And as I've said, being in charge of the security of the city, that this is our celebration, that we celebrate as a country.
And of course, we'll give you an extensive coverage tomorrow. The government has approved the release of some 50 million shillings as part of claim settlements for project-affected persons whose land was hived off for the construction of the Sagana Canal dual carriageway. The money forms part of millions of shillings of compensation that has been paid out to families whose land was acquired for the expansion of the key highway.
This is an investigative hearing. We have to listen to all the parties. For example, this morning we have listened to 4 historical land injustice claims, and in some of these, the respondents did not attend, most likely because maybe they received the communication late. But we also had respondents in some. KFS in particular were here. The Catholic Diocese was here as respondents to the claims.
And now to the coast, where residents of villages occupying a 20-acre piece of land in Kaya-Fungo and Mwanamwingo wards are protesting what they allege to be an attempt to grab their ancestral land. Over 5,000 affected residents claim that the land surveyors allegedly, in collaboration with the Kilifi County Lands Department officials, have been demarcating the land and allocating it to strangers, sometimes even under the cover of darkness.
Alikuja huko akatuahidi kwamba kuna mradi wa maendeleo unakuja na tukopokea. Lakini sasa tunarejesha kwako bwana mheshimiwa Gavana Mng'aro kwamba komiti yako ama watu wako wenye uliwatuma wakuje huku kutuhakikishia tunapata namba na title deed ili tuweze kufaidika ni wafisadi, pamoja na administrative yote yenye inasimamia huo upimaji inaongozwa na machifu wetu na masubchifu. Hawana uwazi. Huku Mwanamwinga upimaji huu utaleta mafaa makubwa kwa sababu mnachukua watu wenye wanaishi vizuri mnawafanya waishi kihasama.
Now, the UK-backed Digital Access Programme, a transformative initiative supported by the British High Commission, has been launched in Mandera County. As part of the initiative, healthcare workers from Mandera Sub-County and county referral hospitals are undergoing training on disability mainstreaming, which includes the use of Assist All, a tool designed to enhance communication with deaf patients. Mandera County leaders lauded the programme for addressing digital inequalities while enhancing access to government services for marginalized groups.
Dealing with a client who is deaf is crucial for us as health workers. That is why you guys are here to understand the basics of this sign language. The signature for the disability has been decentralized to the counties, and the Director of Medical Services is the signatory, the final signatory to those disability forms. So that means anybody who is disabled in the county will easily access this service here at Mandera.
We are learning a lot, and it is helping us in many ways. One, getting the correct diagnosis, getting correct communication from the disabled people, including deaf and blind. We are also getting to get a right treatment for this patient and even follow-up in future.
Turkana leaders led by Governor Jeremiah Lomurukai have committed to strengthening diplomatic ties with southern Ethiopia to enhance trade and development between Turkana and the southern Omo region. Speaking at the 19th National and Nationalist Cultural Day in Abraminch City, Lomurukai emphasized the importance of embracing cultural diversity. Turkana leaders also expressed support for plans to open a trade corridor to Ethiopia, aiming to boost the economy of Turkana County.
The main issue here is actually to attend on issues of culture, which is the main issue here today, and also issues of tourism, and also topics or issues of related to development in this particular region, issues on agriculture, water management. My intention of also meeting the president of South Omo was actually to try to negotiate a resource sharing agreement.
The government is in the process of installing new network masts in several parts of Isiolo County. The areas were enlisted for security installations by the national government. Now, speaking in Oldonyiro Ward, Isiolo Governor Abdi Ibrahim Guyo lauded the government for facilitating the installation of network masts in the various villages in the county. The villages include Longopito, Rumate, Boji and Kom. The governor at the same time asked leaders to unite and work together for the benefit of the electorate.
Sisi tulishikana tukatafuta waziri wa nini? Wa usalama wa ndani. Mheshimiwa ambaye sasa ni naibu wa nini? Wa rais. Tukamwambia tuko na sehemu zetu ndogo ndogo ndani ya Isiolo County ambayo haiwezi weko network kwa sababu ya uchache ya nini? Ya wananchi ambao wanaishi huko. Tunataka hizo sehemu zifanyiwe network on basis of security installation.
The county government of Kiambu is establishing a Community Health Act to improve healthcare access and services offered by the community health promoters. The county government says the act will serve as a comprehensive framework to guide the operations of community health promoters who play a critical role in Level 1 health facilities.
Governor Kimani Wamatangi said the proposed law is designed to ensure that every person in Kiambu has access to essential healthcare services at the community level and also empower the health promoters to play an active role in improving health outcomes.
Kuna sheria ambao tumetengeneza ya kuhakikisha kwamba kazi ya hawa wa CHPs ambao imeangaliwa vizuri na vile watakuwa wanaifanya na mapato ile watakuwa wanafanya.
Tutaiweka ikiwa na progression ambapo ukitoka pale utakuwa umepata pia wewe shahada na kutambuliwa ya kutosha.
Governor Matangi directed that all 3,070 community health promoters in the county be enrolled in a comprehensive care program.
Hii kazi yetu tutaiweka kwa sheria na nyinyi mtakumbuka siku moja ya kwamba tuliyasema hapa na nyinyi hapa na tukaanzisha kitu ambaye itafanya hii kazi yetu ikuwe ya kuheshimiwa.
It will be able to streamline all the services because they educate us how we are going to appreciate our CHPs, their structures, and this way we'll be able to address people from the household up to the facility level.
In Kisii County, former Gusii civic leader and philanthropist Thomas Oresi has lauded development strides achieved by the government in the health sector despite the challenges faced.
Watu wengi walikuwa kicha kwa hospitali, unawakuta au kwa outpatient wanafika wakiwa hai lakini wakiwa wagonjwa. Sasa muda kidogo tu unapata mtu wamefariki hapo nje. Tukaulizwa tu watu tutengenezea watu dispensary. Hospitali yetu ilikuwa ikiitwa General zamani, miaka zamani. Hii ambayo ni level 6 sasa ama referral wakati huu sasa.
Oresi, who built a dispensary for his community at the height of the dreaded perennial highland malaria outbreak, said the government have made a great milestone in ensuring malaria fever is eradicated. Martini Maslin for Lunchtime News.
Changamwe Member of Parliament Omar Mwinyi has ruled out educational initiatives targeting children living in slum areas of his constituency during this holiday period. Speaking during a meeting with the youth in Magongo area, the area Member of Parliament noted that the initiative seeks to elevate the educational standards for children living in the slums, ensuring that they grow to become role models and productive members of the society. The initiative also aims to change the perception of slums often associated with crime. The programs included tuition sessions, mentorship programs led by professionals, and the distribution of essential learning materials.
Kuna vitongoji kama vile tunaita kule Hodi, Skembo, kwa Salama. Ukija tena huku Chaani, sehemu za Mlolongo, sehemu za Kalahari, sehemu za Matate, sehemu za Dunga Unuse. Hizi ni sehemu ambazo ni slums katika eneo letu la Changamwe. Tumeanzisha programu kuangalia vipi wanafunzi ambao wanatoka katika sehemu hizi tutawasaidia ili tuboreshe hali yao ya kimasomo na tuwe na wanafunzi ambao watakuwa ni kielelezo katika sehemu hizi ili waweze kuwapatia moyo wale wengine waweze kufanya bidii, tuweze kupata haya mabadiliko. Tusiwe na vitongoji ambao tutatarajia vina watoto tu wakora na tutosheke na hivyo, lakini tufanye juhudi tuone kwamba sehemu hizi zimegeuka na zimetoa watoto ambao watakuwa ni wa kujenga taifa hili letu katika ngazi tofauti za kitaifa.
There's no weapon you can give a person in this current era or century apart from education. We thank the area Member of Parliament so much, and we pray that the parents to these children emulate that spirit and work together with their children so that we see a greater nation.
The youth have attributed their low participation in climate change initiatives to lack of trust in them by the government and other players, as well as exploitation of their innovations by environmental organizations. Speaking during a Youth National Climate Change Action Plan Capacity Workshop here in the capital, the participants led by Gender and Governance UN Representative Helen Muchunu and Youth Coordinator in the Kenya Climate Change Working Group Modesta Lin urged the government and other players to formulate youth-friendly policies.
What we lack in experience in terms of work, we bring in terms of expertise, let's say what you've studied, also in terms of the lived experiences that you have. And I believe tapping into these experiences are very important.
We've also been able to develop a number of children-friendly climate materials, including a children-friendly climate dictionary that is available, and also a climate action guide.
We are among the nations who are most vulnerable to the impacts of climate change. Droughts, floods, and food insecurity are no longer distant threats. They are here, knocking our doors.
We are committed to working and empowering you to lead, to innovate, and to create solutions that work for your generation and for your, future generations.
We're 29 minutes past the hour. We're taking a first commercial break, but don't go too far. I'll be up next with the latest in the world of business.
Mamlaka ya ukusanyaji ushuru nchini inakuletea kampeni ya umma ya Mechanized na Risiti Legit. Thibitisha risiti yako ukitumia app ya Risiti Legit, upate nafasi ya kuibuka mshindi wa zawadi kemkem kama vile shilingi milioni 1 pesa taslim, laptops, televisheni ya inchi 50, smartphones na zawadi zingine. Siku ya Jumatano tarehe 11 tutatembea Makueni na Kitui, maeneo ya Salama, Sultan Hamud, Emali, Makindu, Kibwezi, Wote, Mtito Wandei, Ukia na Makuyuni. Pata app ya Risiti Legit kwa Google Play Store au App Store kwa maelezo ya kuingia katika mashindano ya Risiti Legit. Mechanized na Risiti Legit. KRA, tulipe ushuru tujitegemee.
Are you thinking about your future? Saving through a registered retirement benefits plan offers amazing benefits that make a difference when it matters most. A registered retirement benefits plan allows you to save up to 20,000 shillings every month tax-free. An investment income from a pension scheme is tax-exempt, meaning your money grows even faster, especially when you add the compound interest. Your retirement benefits provide a basic, reasonable income after your working life, preventing cases of ill health, death, or other disruptions. It acts as a safety net upon loss of employment, like during the COVID-19 pandemic, and offers financial protection to your dependents. Plus, it can cover post-retirement medical costs, one of the biggest expenses for retirees. Secure your future and enjoy your retirement to the fullest with a registered pension plan. Plan today for a brighter tomorrow. For more information, visit our website www.rba.go.ke, call our toll-free line 0800-720-300 or email info@rba.go.ke. Secure your future. Secure your peace of mind. RBA, safeguarding your retirement benefits.
And now welcome to the world of business. Religious leaders are drawn from the Muslim and Hindu faith are calling for tax reforms and reduction in government expenditure plan to manage the country's debt. The leaders say there is need for an audit of all government service functions to reduce duplication of duties to reduce expenditure.
In the 2024-2025 fiscal year, the government had planned to raise 346 billion shillings to finance the budget through tax hikes. However, the government backed down, opting for cuts on expenditure after a major public uproar. A section of religious leaders now say tax hikes are not sustainable and will only reduce the public's purchasing power that will eventually hurt small businesses. The clerics are calling for the government to instead consider fiscal consolidation and revise the budget downwards.
As we take on the debt, we need to have a lot of transparency and accountability. And once the public has that knowledge, that civic knowledge, they can make informed decisions. They can ask the informed questions. And we as leaders, we need to make our people more aware.
The National Treasury has been advised against introducing finance bills to support budgets, but instead formulate predictable tax regimes to create a conducive and investor-friendly business environment to attract direct foreign investments.
Tujaribu kutoa mapendekezo kwa serikali jinsi gani ambayo inaweza kuweka budget ambayo inaweza ikaweza kufanya nini, yani inaweza ikalipia ama ikaweza kugharamia.
We have to have reforms that are much responsive or that are more responsive towards the citizen. At the moment, the government when you evaluate the government expenditure, we have a lot of wastage. If you look at the budget formulation processes, we have a growing deficits year by year.
Benson Droba reporting for Lunchtime News.
Indonesia is looking to exploit opportunities in Kenya's tea, coffee, avocado and horticulture sectors. Indonesian ambassador to Kenya, Mohamed Heri Saripudin, says that 30 Indonesian companies are currently in the initial stages of signing MOUs with their Kenyan counterparts that will see millions of shillings pumped into the Kenyan economy.
In 2022, Indonesia exported about 62 billion shillings to Kenya, while Kenya exported about 3.5 billion shillings to Indonesia. The main exports from Indonesia were palm oil, uncoated paper, and citric acid, while the main exports from Kenya were cocoa beans, tea, and tanned sheep hides. But the two countries are also forging new ways of deepening trade.
Not only promoting economic cooperations, but also education. For the last 3 years, the government of Indonesia and also the universities from Indonesia always provide us a full scholarship.
In August last year, Indonesian President Joko Widodo visited Kenya and was welcomed by President William Ruto in his first ever visit to Africa. 15 MOUs in different sectors including energy, pharmaceuticals, vaccines, textiles, palm oil, among others, were signed to strengthen cooperation and trade between the two countries. Indonesia has already invested in Mount Suswa to develop geothermal power.
Last year on August, my president coming here, and there are 15 MOUs that signed, all about economy, starting from energy, geothermals, pharmaceutical product, vaccines, textile, clothing, palm oil.
This comes even as challenges like connectivity, distance and language barriers between the two countries have been noted as areas that need more cooperation.
Kuna opportunities nyingi za wafanyabiashara wetu wanaweza kuchukua hasa katika majani chai, kahawa, sekta ya elimu pia, na sisi kutoka Chamber of Commerce tunasema kwamba tutajaribu kuweka wawekezaji kutoka nchi hizi mbili, kujaribu kuwakutanisha, kuweka kwenye meza pamoja.
Alanauko, Lunchtime News.
Murang'a tea farmers have rejected the proposed amendments to the tea industry regulations, warning that they will have a detrimental effect on the tea market. Gasharage Tea Factory Chairman Wilfred Gadhitu Karau, who was speaking during the farmers' annual general meeting in Kigumo, says the proposed regulations will unfairly burden Kenyans.
The Tea Amendment Bill 2023 proposes denial of a guaranteed subsidy kitty for farmers, which was supposed to cushion them from fluctuations in global prices. The bill seeks to give 60% of the money raised from the tea levy to the Tea Board of Kenya, while the remaining 40% allocated to the Tea Research Foundation. Farmers in Murang'a County have rejected the proposed amendments.
Now they are telling the farmer to pay 1% levy on total sales of tea. This one is not good for the farmers. The tea farmers are just like any other farmers in Kenya. They should be supported through the government, national government budget.
The proposed amendments, particularly the requirement for factories to pay 1% of their annual sales to the Tea Board of Kenya, have sparked fierce opposition among the tea growers.
There is a balance of 3.4 billion, which the government should release so that it will cover the total subsidy from the time of Uhuru to date.
The subsidy fund, initially guaranteed under the Tea Act 2020, provided financial relief to approximately 600,000 tea farmers across Kenya. The fund, supported by budget allocations, the tea levy and grants, aims to address broader financial needs in the tea sector. Frederick Muki for Lunchtime News.
Fish farmers in Kwale County are set to gain from an initiative by the Kenya Marine and Fisheries Institute in collaboration with the Kenya Fisheries Services, which seeks to train and hone their skills in prawn farming. Stakeholders say this will not only empower them, but also bridge the gap in accessing quality seeds.
Past faced the challenge of unavailability of quality seed, hence relying on wild seed, a problem which has led to low yields.
Farmers have been relying on seeds that are obtained from the wild, which in the face of climate change, there have been challenges in seed supply. So these hatcheries, the initiative in this hatchery will bridge the gap.
The initiative is meant to cover the essential aspects of prawn farming, which include effective feeding techniques, pond management, harvesting methods, and market preparation. In addition to technical skills, the training lays a platform for the community to engage with stakeholders in the fisheries sector for insights into sustainable fish farming practices and strategies to overcome challenges and post-harvest losses. Furthermore, the project represents a significant step toward improving food security, alleviating poverty, and fostering community empowerment.
Having access to hatchery-reared prawns will transform the livelihoods of Kenya's coastal community prawn farmers. It means they won't have to rely on wild broodstock anymore, and more importantly, it will enable them to work with the Marine Institute to selectively breed prawns that are best adapted to their own farms.
The training culminated with the stocking of 3,000 prawn fingerlings, marking the first ever batch rolled out from Namaret Marine Hatchery in Shimoni. Winslaus Pamba for Lunchtime News.
Now, the dairy processor Brookside has rolled out a capacity-building initiative targeting smallholder farmers boost the quality and quantity of milk produced. Brookside General Manager for Milk Procurement, Emmanuel Kabaki, says this is part of efforts to ensure steady supply of the milk for processing amid growing demand for dairy products. Kabaki made the remarks when Brookside announced a payout of 500 million shillings to contracted smallholder dairy farmers who supplied raw milk between July and November this year. The amount represents a 41% increase on what was paid out during a similar period last year. Now, the government is tapping into strategic partnership to scale up rice production from 250,000 metric tons to 1.2 million metric tons to satisfy the domestic market. Kilimall agricultural engineer Simon Mutua says so far partnerships have seen the introduction of 6 and 4 rows rice transplanters, thereby enhancing efficiency and cutting costs involved in planting the crop manually.
Currently, mechanization at the Mwea irrigation scheme in Kirinyaga County has seen an uptick in production, with farmers recording an increase in production from 25 bags to 40 bags per acre. The surge is being attributed to the efficiency of machinery, which has zero breakages and zero root disturbance, guaranteeing maximum crop survival compared to manual planting, where some of the seedlings break while others die due to root disturbance affecting production.
All these problems are eradicated by the machine, and because of that, it translates into higher production.
At the same time, mechanized planting has been accurate on spacing and depth, which has proved to be effective in controlling wilting that results in the death of seedlings. Speaking during a demonstration of the new technology to farmers at Ahero irrigation scheme in Kisumu County, Mutua said mechanized planting was cheaper than manual planting.
You require about 9,000 or thereabout to plant 1 acre manually, conventionally. But with the use of the machines, we have reduced that cost to about 4 liters per acre.
It is designated to conduct rice transplanting in 1 acre
within a period of 1.5 hours. This is a game changer in terms of actually reducing the cost of production.
Some 20,000 farmers have so far been onboarded, with efforts on course to reach an additional 10,000 of them across the rice-growing regions by the end of this year.
Members of the East Africa Power Pool have committed to avail resources for the creation of centralized energy market in 2025. Energy Cabinet Secretary Opiyo Wandayi says the platform aims to connect up to 600 million people to clean energy by 2030, enabling competitive trading of electricity using shared infrastructure and renewable energy resources.
The Eastern Africa Power Pool has achieved major progress since its inception in 2005. Kenya was among the first 7 countries, with others including Rwanda, Burundi, DRC, Ethiopia, Sudan, and Egypt that agreed to establish the EAPP by signing the Intergovernmental Memorandum of Understanding. In line with this, the power market aims to harness the region's abundant renewable energy resources while enhancing the reliability and affordability of electricity supply. Member countries within the East African Power Pool are finalizing institutional mechanisms, technical frameworks, and governance structures to ensure seamless cross-border trade.
This initiative will ensure reliability and sustainability of the regional power market, benefiting all our member states. There is noticeable progress in the development of regional electricity infrastructure, in interconnecting countries within the region.
This will enable member countries to harness the region's tremendous endowment of low-cost renewable energy resources with a vision to increase both access to electricity as well as enhance reliability and affordability of electricity supply.
The anticipated launch of the day-ahead market in the first quarter of 2025 will revolutionize energy trade across East Africa. This centralized platform will unlock greater efficiency, transparency, and competitiveness, and also will enable countries to optimize their energy sources and meet the demand while fostering price discovery for fair and equitable trade.
The competitive trade structure follows recent power connections made between various countries. Kenya and Tanzania plan to commission a 400 kilovolt transmission line linking the 2 countries in March 2025. Tanzania and Mozambique are also in talks to construct an interconnector. Ndutamo Kami for Lunchtime News.
And now finally, President William Ruto has this morning hosted evangelical and Pentecostal church leaders led by Redeemed Gospel Church presiding Bishop Kefa Omai at State House, Nairobi, where he reiterated the need for partnership in national issues. The head of state said religious faiths and the state serve the same people and have always worked together in ensuring national cohesion and providing social services including education, health and helping the vulnerable.
Kiambu ewe katika safari yangu tatembea, niongoze safari mbele unichukue mlangoni mwa mbinguni niingie na wewe pamoja.
Former FKF Premier League champions Tusker FC will move to the top of the league standings if they beat AFC Leopards today at the Dandora Stadium in Nairobi. Tusker FC lies second in the table with 21 points and will leapfrog leaders KCB Nairobi if they win this afternoon's match. In another matches, reigning champions Gor Mahia will take on Shabana FC at Kenyatta Stadium in Machakos, while Bidco United will face Kenya Police. FC Talanta will take on Mara Sugar and Kariobangi Harambee Sharks will play Nairobi City Stars. Posta Rangers will lock horns with Kakamega Homeboys, while Ulinzi Stars will take on Bandari FC. In yesterday's top flight match, Murang'a Seals defeated Mandera United 2-0 in a league match played at the Kasarani to go level on 15 points with 9th placed AFC Leopards and Mandera United, who have now dropped to 11th on goal difference after being leapfrogged by Murang'a Seals. Their loss also leaves Mandera United without a win in 4 matches as they prepare for their trip to Mombasa to face third place Bandari FC in the next assignment on Saturday.
King Joe.
And now to Europe, where Liverpool are the first team to secure the place in the knockout phase of the UEFA Champions League after a solitary goal defeated Girona as Real Madrid ended their losing streak in Europe after a hard-fought 3-2 victory over Atalanta at the Gavis Stadium. Kylian Mbappe scored his 50th European Championship League goal in the 10th minute before Charles de Calatero levelled matters before the break via a penalty. Vinicius Jr. and Jude Bellingham put the Spanish Giants ahead of the remaining half before Ademola Lookman tried to reduce the deficit in the 65th minute, but it wasn't enough to secure their win as Real ran away with a much-needed victory. Liverpool maintained their perfect run when they beat Girona 1-0 to advance to the Champions League last 16. Mo Salah was the hero to become the 11th, while PSG won 3-0 away to RB Salzburg. Well, of course, the Spanish Giants seem to be back and, of course, 18th placed in the standings. You do know that this year's Champions League is a little bit different compared to the previous ones. But mouth-watering clashes will be seen this night, where Arsenal are set to take on Monaco, BVB, Barcelona, Juventus will be welcoming Man City to Italy. That is all we had for you. Do join us in our subsequent bulletins, and of course tomorrow is Jamhuri Day. We'll have for you details of that particular celebrations that will be spearheaded by none other than President William Ruto. Good afternoon for now, and enjoy the rest of your viewing.
Lakini tatizo liko pale pale. Kama ni mimi hakumuua, basi aliyemuua ni nani? Hatuondoke hapa mpaka tujue mbichi na mbivu.
Yasiri!
Usishike! Yale yote niliyopitia mimi, mjua chanzo ni wewe.
Nataka vijana ambao wanaweza kufanya kazi bila uoga wowote.
Yasiri! Damu yangu mimi na ya mke wa kiongozi haziwezi changanyikana.
Maliza haraka, kuna mahali nitakukutuma.
I never heard the music so sweet. I repeat.
Wow,
Wagwan, me brethren, big things are going. Remember, each and every Monday we have to shell down the place with nothing but the best of smooth way the vibes in your favorite station. You know these things.
Alafu kila Tuesday, kata simu tupo side, giving you Kenyan music from the 254.
And of course, you can spice up your Wednesday by enjoying blazing hot hip-hop and R&B jams.
We don't got no label. She say she want bottles.
Vibes and vibes as we go all across Africa, Kenya, Nigeria, Ghana, all the way to Tanzania to give you nothing but the best on Afro Thursday. Make sure you make a date with us each and every single Friday with me, DJ_Liza Diva,
DJ Cold,
and me, Wanjiko. This is Club One Extra.
Unanifanya nisikie kunyongwa. Hadija ai, money especially ukisonga.
Kamene. I keep on telling you to retire from speaking English. But you are like that stubborn girlfriend who cannot even go after breakup.
Attention, Baroque ladies, the golden boys have just arrived.
Bishop, yeah, this is yours. For being an obedient and hardworking student.
Wow. This class is full of haters. Haters!
As from today onwards, yes, you are not a physical physician, but you are a moshari motitian. Kinyanji, you are a really miracle worker. Not yet. The miracle has not yet been done.
Friday night again.
Greetings in the name of the Most High Jah Rastafari. My good name is Marley Moses, the positive warrior, alongside...
Yes, sir, DJ D-Rage, the baddest. Each and every Wednesday from 10 p.m. on KBC Channel 1 TV.
Tunakuletea the biggest reggae party in 254 in a yard extra niceness of reggae music,
extra dose of entertainment.
When the thing is nice,
we have to do it twice.